Are you ready to punch the sweetest little Christmas ornaments today? I'm Kim from Kimberbell, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to punch needle the cozy Christmas ornaments from Kimberbell. Let's go ahead and get started. In the cozy Christmas ornaments, you're going to receive all the materials you need to make 4 different ornaments: the candy cane, the peppermint, the gingerbread man, and finally the Christmas tree, which I'll be using for our tutorial today. First, your 4 colors of yarn, some pre-printed musk cloth, 4 scalloped wooden discs, beads, rickrack, hand needles, and a 5-inch hoop, as well as your needle tool and needle threader. At the tip of your needle, you're going to notice a beveled edge on top and a rounded edge on the bottom with a small hole. Take your needle threader, insert it through the eye of the needle and down into the channel, and pull it through the handle end. Thread your brown yarn through the loop of the threader and pull it back through the needle. Leave a short tail, then set it aside while you hoop your monk's cloth. The kit includes the 4 ornament designs to stitch one at a time. The cloth can be hooped in one of 2 ways, on the front or on the back. I'm going to go ahead and hoop it on the front, but we'll retrace the design onto the back so that you know where to punch. This is a step that you're going to see outlined as step number 1 on your directions. Alternately, you could hoop and punch it from the back and therefore not have to trace. You can do this by loosening the hoop and placing the inner ring down. Then hoop the fabric with the printed design on the back of the hoop. Center it, tighten, and pull the fabric so it's taut like a drum. You'll stitch on the underside, which reveals the project on the front. Either way you do it, you're always going to be punching from the underside of the hoop. The first way just requires you to retrace the design to the back, while the second way just has you hoop the design opposite of what you might think, and therefore you don't have to retrace. For today's tutorial, I'm going to choose to do the second method, so I don't have to bother tracing. Call it a little shortcut, if you will. Always keep the beveled side of the needle facing up and the needle tip pointing in the direction you are stitching. We also recommend punching about every 1/8 inch to get a fuller look for all of those loop and cut technique instructions in this project. Start by punching the tree trunk. Insert the needle fully to the handle base, then pull it out slightly and move forward about 1/8 inch for the next punch. Keep the needle gliding close to the cloth surface, not lifting too high. This forms even loops on the opposite side. Continue filling in the tree trunk, staggering stitches like bricks. When finished, lift the needle, trim the tail, and check the loops on the front. It's now time to do the cut portion of the loop and cut technique. Now that we have our loops so beautiful, we're going to just cut them off just a tad. Doing this is going to create a very soft shag look that you actually are going to love. To do this, simply take your scissors and trim off the top of the loops. You can then take some curved scissors and give the tree more shape by cutting around the outside perimeter at an angle like this. You can use tape to remove any of what I might call the yarn flurries. Let's move on to the green portion of the tree. Simply change your yarn on your needle, just as we did in the beginning, and punch the outline of the tree. Once you start to fill in the rest of your tree, stagger your stitches just a bit to fill in the center. Remember, we want our stitches just a tad closer to one another than normal, so just jump about 1/8 inch from stitch to stitch. When you're done, lift the needle, trim the tail, and check the loops on the front. And because this is also called a loop and cut technique, you know what to do. That's right, get out those scissors and trim across the tops of the loops. Then remove any of your flurries with paper tape. Continue this process of punching each area according to the instructions for each specific ornament. Once done, you're ready to add your embellishments. In this example, I'm going to simply thread my needle with the included embroidery floss and add beads to the tree to look like ornaments. Then I'll tie a bow with a piece of red yarn and attach it to the top of the tree. The other ornament embellishments are similar, so just add those when it calls for it in the instructions. One exception would be adding the mini rickrack to the arms of the gingerbread man. To do so, simply cut a piece of the rickrack that extends across the width of the arm, plus add about an extra inch. When it's time to add it, poke one end of the rickrack down into the cloth, extend the piece across the arm, and then finish by poking the second end of the rickrack down into the cloth. When finished, remove the project from the hoop and cut around the circle, leaving about a 1/2 inch margin. From here, you could do one of two things. One option would be to create a running stitch around the outside edge and cinch the back closed. The second option is actually my preferred method, and that is to snip tabs approximately every 1/2 inch around. Then glue them down with a hot glue gun. Once that is done, you can now attach the punch design to the wooden disc with hot glue, and then thread your remaining rickrack into the hole for hanging. You now have the sweetest Christmas ornaments ready for hanging on your tree, decorating a garland on your mantle, or even attaching to the top of a gift. There are so many fun possibilities with these cozy Christmas ornaments. For more projects, visit Kimberbell.com or your local quilt or yarn shop. Have fun!